Hello and welcome everybody back to AD Trades. In this video, like I promised my previous video, in this video what we're going to be doing is very simple. All I'm going to teach you in this video is how to identify liquidity zones without using an indicator. Because like I always mention, using indicators is like using calculators. It weakens your brain. You need to know how to identify these zones without having to use any form of indicator. Of course, when you're experienced and you know what you're doing, using indicators just helps you. But if you don't know what you're doing and you're just using indicators and you're dependent on indicators, that's a problem. So in this video, all we're going to be doing is identifying patterns and identifying how and where you can find liquidity zones on the chart. Let's get right into it. So I got my chart loaded up here, but before we get into it, I just want to mention liquidity resides under swing lows and above swing highs. Okay, if you guys don't know what swing lows and swing highs are, I'm gonna go in depth of what they are in the video, like in this video. So just stay tuned for that in the middle, somewhere in the middle. But just before we get into the charts, I just want to explain that liquidity is a lot of people's stop losses. Okay, what that means is when you set up a trade, for example, if you're shorting, your stop loss is going to be above a certain level. That's where liquidity resides, because a lot of other people would have also had their stop loss at the same zone. So that's where liquidity, that's a basic simple form of what liquidity is. Now let's get right into the charts. So I have a clean chart, or we got a couple wins here, but I have a clean chart here. All right, there's nothing here. Now I just want to go over how you can set up zones and how you can find liquidity. Now, like I mentioned before, liquidity resides above swing highs and below swing lows. Okay, this right here is a swing high. This is a swing high. This is a swing low. Now, this is where people would usually enter a trade. Okay, their stop losses would be somewhere around over here. That's probably their stop loss, right? That's right. Stop loss. Okay, that's probably where their stop loss is, and their take profit can be anywhere from here, here. It doesn't matter where their take profit is. Their stop loss is what their liquidity is. Okay, that's all it is. Now, what does liquidity do to traders like us? Why do we need to know? How can we use it to our advantage? Liquidity is somewhere price wants to go to take that money. All those stop losses that are sitting there, price goes and chases that and takes those stop losses. This is not exact definition of what liquidity is. It's a very basic yet effective definition. All right, that's how I like to look at it, and this is how I like to teach it to all my students. Now, this is also liquidity. Okay, so this is where people would enter the trade, somewhere over here. I had an exam today. I would have entered this trade. This trade is a very good trade. I would have entered it, but I had an exam today, so I couldn't enter it. And this is where liquidity would sit, because people's stop losses could be anywhere from here to here, right? But this is where their stop losses would be. Okay. So I hope you guys found this easy to understand so far. Now we're gonna go over how to identify swing highs and swing lows. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if you guys don't understand it yet, I'll go in depth of it. Now, a swing high is something that happens after a swing low. Okay, and I know that's not helping very much, but let me explain what it is. Now, this is a swing low. Like I said, a swing high is something that happens after a swing low. This is a swing high. So this swing low is what caused this swing high, meaning this swing low created liquidity and pushed price up, and then came down again to chase liquidity back here. Took this liquidity zone out from right here, right? You guys see that? There's two liquidity zones that we took over here by this huge wick. Why is there a huge wick? Because there's multiple liquidity zones here that all price wanted to do is go chase that liquidity and come back up. That's why it's a very weird looking candle. If I can zoom in the post edit, this is gonna look very weird. This candle is gonna look very weird. Okay, so that's what liquidity is. And yeah, guys, this is basically all liquidity is. Okay, now this is what a swing low and a swing high. Now a swing high usually contains liquidity. So liquidity can be here, liquidity can be here. Again, these are all swing highs, right? Liquidity can be here. Liquidity can be, of course, here. It's major liquidity. Liquidity can again be here. And liquidity can be here. Okay? There's liquidity all over the charts. And to identify them, we are gonna use an indicator. But right before that, I wanna take up a challenge for myself in this video. And I wanna see if I can identify some major liquidity zones that's gonna align with our indicator. So when we turn on our indicator, the liquidity on the indicator has to match my liquidity zones, okay? So let's go look at some liquidity zones. So this is a liquidity zone. This is a liquidity zone. This is a liquidity zone that's been taken already. So I'm gonna guess that, and by the way, I haven't looked at the thing. I turn it off in the morning. I turn off the indicator in the morning, so I don't know where liquidity is here. I haven't checked. So this is a taken liquidity, that's why it's a dashed line. This is also a taken liquidity, so I'm gonna draw a dashed line here as well. Okay, and there's liquidity here, here, so on and so forth. But let's just see if these align with our liquidity indicator. All right, so I'm just gonna go turn on the liquidity indicator. It's called Liquidity Swings by Lux Algo. Before I turn it on, just turn on these settings, okay? This is one of my favorite indicators to use. I use this every day. So this pivot look back as 14, swing area, have it at wick extremity, not full range because it's gonna look clumsy. Okay, we just want it to look like be at the wicks. Intrabar precision, we don't need that, so you can turn it off and just have it at 1 minute even if you do turn it on. And filter by area, so we're gonna have count, not volume, and then we're just gonna have 0. All right, and then we're gonna have our swing highs and swing lows. You can set the color whatever you want. I just have red and green, just a generic color. And of course, box labels and lines. This should be your generic defaults when you just open the indicator, so don't change anything. But if it is not the same, go ahead and change these settings. So just go check. But yeah, so this is what I use, Liquidity Swings by Lux Algo. You can use it, you can look at it in the indicators tab. Now let's turn it on. And okay, what did I say? So we have, okay, so instead of here, there's liquidity here, but there's also liquidity here. Okay, there's liquidity here, and like I said, there's liquidity here as well. So every time you see, and there's also liquidity here. Let me delete the dashed lines. You can see again, there's dashed lines because liquidity was taken here and then went back up, right? And we created new liquidity here. Again, liquidity, liquidity. Stop loss is where liquidity is. And this is also again liquidity. This is also liquidity again, okay? And this is also liquidity. Look, we have a liquidity zone right here. And look at what I had. I had a liquidity zone right here. There's liquidity here, there's liquidity here. And so on and so forth, guys. So that's all liquidity is, okay? And you can use this indicator, Lux Algo Liquidity Swings, to identify liquidity zones as well. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos like this. And stay tuned for some special announcements coming up. I will announce them in my upcoming videos. And in the next video, most probably, all I'm going to talk about is some of the indicators that I find very helpful. If you guys want to watch that video, stay tuned. It's going to come up very soon. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one. I will see you in the next one. Peace.